Welcome on in, folks, to another episode of the Protect You podcast. Jake Wilson, as always, alongside Jay Mickens. New day, new time. We had a little things that are going to move around just a little bit as we move throughout the week, but we still had to get the episode out, as always, for y'all, the beautiful viewers at home. And Jay, it was a exciting week that we're coming off of, and it's going to be another exciting week that we're going into.
First of all, probably, definitely crazy time in here. We're trying to spend this off. Jalen's got a game tomorrow, right? So, needed to get on the road to head up to Ruston, Louisiana to watch La Tech play Western Kentucky, right? Tucker Parks, another Protect You crew member that's on that Hilltopper squad.
Yes, sir.
Fans, appreciate you guys tuning in on a special edition of the Protect You podcast. So definitely excited to be in the studio on a Monday.
Yes, absolutely. The meat and potatoes of this episode definitely going to feel very similar to things that have happened in the past, but we were very excited because we were able to go out and we did a lot of traveling over this past weekend. But Before we dive too deep into that, address the elephant in the room for those of y'all that have definitely been following and know what the Protect You crew is about is the recent news on Sunday of the dismissal and the firing of Billy Napier, now former head coach of the Florida Gators. He will no longer be with the program. He will be making quite a lot of money in next year due to his buyout conditions, but obviously there are impacts for this both on and off of the field. The new interim head coach is the wide receivers position coach for the Florida Gators, so he'll be filling into those shoes, but obviously a lot of things going on behind the scenes of the implications of what this means for Protect You crew members, most namely among them DJ Lagway, Moise Tunkara, and DeBron Hampton. We're not going to get too deep into those things. Opinions are going to stay where they are as of right now. We're still figuring things out in terms of what the negotiation process might look like, what the transfer portal process might look like. But obviously, we have a lot of faith in the Florida program, and they likewise have a whole lot of faith in us. So not a whole lot else really going to go into that.
Just one thing that I would just love to add is that what is intriguing, though, is the fact that you're looking at a wide receiver coach, right, and Coach Gonzalez, which is going to be the interim, right? And so two of our guys being with Moise and DeBron being receivers could see what that could potentially impact there. And also, too, the new offensive coordinator is the current quarterback coach, right? So it's going to be interesting to see, what happens down the games. But they got a bye week to figure it out before that November 1st game with the world's largest cocktail party, which will be Georgia and Florida, and Jake and I will be not only in the house, but we'll be on the field. We'll be up in the press box. So we will be able to give you guys all access of what the new changes will look like, as well as getting to see our guy, Justin Williams, one of the top linebackers for the Georgia Bulldogs. So it's going to be a fun day, Jake.
Yes.
Now with all these storylines kind of changing and unfolding.
Yeah, absolutely. It adds a lot of drama to that game, and a game that it feels like is already always full of drama, one of the biggest rivalries in the nation, one that everybody shows up and shows out for. You like to see a good neutral site rivalry, too. Them playing that game in Jacksonville.
Of course.
It adds a very special feel to it, and so we're very excited to be out there and be in attendance for that one in the biggest way possible.
No, I agree. And I think, too, Jake, that maybe that week we could do more of a rankings of what we feel are the best rival/neutral site games.
That's an idea
that we see. I know of another rivalry that's a good one that a lot of people go to. I'm not sure there's any other more neutral site games besides the world's largest cocktail party and the Red River.
Yeah, that's one of very few. I mean, maybe Army-Navy, because they play that one
in New York.
They play that one in New York.
Yeah,
Army-Navy. Right. But we got to think about that. I like that idea.
Yeah, Computer Jesus will hook us up, and we'll kind of go down that, and maybe not rank them, but maybe talk about the best games that were played in those neutral sites.
Absolutely. There was a lot to be excited about in terms of things that we have going on, but things that we did over the past week were also very exciting. You and I were in attendance for a lot of great games, a lot of great people that we were able to meet along the way, and chief among them were some new additions to the Protect You crew, guys that we've had on the back burner, but we're finally able to put in the spotlight, give them the minutes and the time that they truthfully deserve. And we start out with a guy that, Jay, you called him the next Christian McCaffrey. I call him the next Cam Scadaboo because he's got a little bit of that dog-ish type energy to him that McCaffrey's got some finesse, but This guy
Well,
and Cam Scatterbo will bowl you over.
Well, and I want to add that let's just say that now I've changed my tune. And let's just say if Christian McCaffrey and Cam Scatterbo had a kid,
It would
be Cash Farrell. That's what this would be.
No
right?
doubt.
So, Computer Jesus, please put that profile. Oh, go back to the profile.
yeah,
you went too quick, Computer Jesus. Go back to it. We got to show that again. That was too much of a click, or let it run. But we can do Cash Farrell here. I mean, he is a man among boys when it comes to running the football. I mean, this young man was a part of a rebuilding Magnolia Bulldogs team from what we were told. We knew how much they lost last year, and Cash has literally put this team on his back. They are currently sitting 5-1 overall. And I mean, you start watching, just some of the things that Cash has been doing this season. I mean, running the football. I mean, and you're going to just see just the strength, right? I mean, the juke. Oh, no, he made his knees buckle. I mean, that's what I mean when I say that he has the power of a Cam Scatterbo, but he also has the finesse of a Christian McCaffrey. And we saw McCaffrey last night, which is great timing here. But he can also catch the ball in the backfield. Look at the balance and the control there. I mean, he just refuses to go down. I mean, no one person can tackle this young man. And Cash has been a dog in this area. We've all known him from Little League football all the way to now the big boy stage. But to be taking a team that, let's just be truthful here, Jake, they're very new to 6A football. A lot of people here in the state of Texas don't even know where Magnolia is. However, Cash Farrell is showing people, hey, you might want to take us seriously. And putting the ball in this young man's hands, you just see that things go great for this Magnolia Bulldog team.
No, absolutely. He's definitely putting Magnolia, it seems like, on the map in terms of one of the future football destinations, especially in this North Houston-ish area. And what I like a lot about this too, and especially what we've been able to see in this highlight reel, is that he has tremendous field vision. A lot of guys, they get tunnel vision when they get that ball and they start working towards the sidelines and they see that this is my only real option. But you see here where he has that good ability and that good wherewithal to cut back into the middle of the field, both as a running back and, as you see here, as a receiver. He's going to make some extra yards. He's going to try and make that extra touchdown type of play instead of just playing it conservative and going out of bounds. He wants to be the guy to get into the end zone because he knows that his team needs this type of a running back. He needs this type of a weapon.
Wow, look at that. I mean, and you're speaking truth right into that. I mean, he's so patient too. A lot of backs, or just want to quick to go out, don't allow their blocks to get set up because they just want to hurry and get out of the backfield. And, he's so patient. And like you said, I mean, his vision is something that can't be coached. It's either you got it or you don't have it.
And I think this clip right here embodies it perfectly. Nothing in the middle, bounce it outside. Wait for the blocks to develop, cut inside, and get upended.
There it is.
Keep going.
But I mean, and then on that last run, he cut outside just to cut back to the inside. I mean, and kudos to the coaches at Magnolia. I mean, like they give him freedom in these zone read run plays to where there's not a set hole that you're supposed to hit. It's a direction that you're supposed to go. But they're allowing Cash to be an athlete. And then look at picking up the pass block. And I mean, just understanding like the whole concept of being a true complete running back. And even in the midst of, as you were talking, Jake, we even got to see a pass play by Cash Farrell for a touchdown because he also can get out there and throw. And I believe that there was a young man that played for Arizona State that also was throwing the football. And it Cam Scatterbo, Arizona State, where y'all waiting on? Come get him. Come get this young man. I mean, if you like Cam, then you're going to like Cash, right? And that's just the way it's going to be. Different initials, CK versus CF. Rather, but Cash Farrell, 2027, kids got another year and a half left of high school football. We are highly anticipating fielding a lot of phone calls in this, for this young man. Camp circuit is going to be huge for him. But the rest of this season, him showing what he's doing and essentially putting a team on his back to where Magnolia wasn't even scheduled, or I would say preseason planned of making the playoffs. And now they're looking as a very dangerous team that as long as Cash Farrell's out there and you're putting the ball in his hands, he's going to continue to help Magnolia stay successful.
Yes, and we were there and watched their game against Klein Collins, a very highly touted and ranked matchup there. And he lets us know that
that's his second touchdown.
It ended up getting 3 on the night, totaling 15 touchdowns. on the season, and he's talking his mess too. He knows what he's about.
Well, look here,
Cash knows what he's about.
Look here, man. Cash Farrell talking that cash money. That's what it's about. That is what it's about, man. I mean, you got to have that swag. And what I like about Cash is that he's got that swag. He understands that in order to be the man, like you got to play the man, and you got to understand that there's a certain amount of balance, right? You know, some people might look at it as arrogant or cocky. I just look at it as being very confident, right? And if you're not confident playing this game, especially when you're the guy with the football in your hands, and then you also know that you're now a leader that everyone is looking up to, especially not just on his football team, but just in the entire community in Magnolia. Things might not go your way if you don't, possess, and then get your teammates and uplift your teammates and have them playing bigger and better than what we have known them to play. And Jake, we were there and we saw that game. A lot of his teammates played better than I believe they played all year because Cash let them know, hey, we're going against a great Klein Collins team. We know the defensive front and the linebackers that we're going to be going against, but we have a chance to win this game. And, things didn't go out the way that they wanted to end. However, I mean, we saw, right, when the ball was in his hands, a little questionable on some play calling on the back end, but that's okay, right? That's okay. They can only control what they can control, and Cash and his teammates did what they need to do. So
no doubt on that. Cash was an electrifying player during that game, was definitely the workhorse guy for Magnolia throughout that game, and he showed up and showed out in a big way. Yeah. And Jay, another guy that we got here joining the Protect You crew is one that is fresh off the presses, one that we were sort of ramping up last night. We were like, we got to get the commitment graphic made. We got to make sure that this guy gets featured because we are very excited to welcome on Jordan White, a guy that we had this discussion about bringing him on just last week.
Yeah.
And now he is already a member of the Protect You crew. Jordan, welcome to the fold. We are happy to have you because you are a lockdown DB threat out of College Park. One of the better defensive units in 13-6A, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, I mean, and Jordan, you're looking at, first of all, eye test. The measurables are there, right? I mean, he's sitting at 6'2", very long frame. Once again, college coaches are, look at him staring down the sideline. Is that Grand Oaks?
It looks like it, yeah.
Hey, I like that. That boy, he let them know. But you're looking at Jordan White, like I said, 6'2", the eye test, but he's got that dog mentality. He's a kid that don't even need safety help over the top. He can be on the island by himself. He allows Marco Beltran, another Protect You crew member, to go float, sometimes come down in the box, help against run support. Because Jordan's like, I got this back here, right? Whether he's sitting in a man-to-man 5 to 7 yards off, whether he's jamming, as you can see right here at the bottom of the screen. I mean, he's got action. And that's one of the fastest, receivers right in the area in a just lost your Parker Stewart, right? Parker Stewart,
yeah.
Track star specialist. And you saw what Jordan was able to do, holding the 0 catches all night when he was on him. But this is a young man that we expect a lot of major D1 offers, coming his way. He is on everyone's board. When we were up at TCU and I was talking with the general manager and just kind of going over, some of the guys that they were looking at, I brought up Jordan's name and he told me, yes, that's definitely somebody that is on, our radar. And I expect a bunch of more Power 4 offers to come this young man's way because everybody wants someone that they can put on an island and shut down a top receiver.
Yes, and Jordan is definitely that guy. And he has another year as well to develop and further hone these skills. Like a lot of the guys that we have here at the Protect You crew, he's definitely looking to hone his craft a little bit more, sharpen those skills. He's already one of the best DBs in 13-6A. I'd be surprised if he isn't at least in consideration for a first-team all-district type of nomination. But Jordan is a guy that we're very excited to have on here. College Park has done an excellent job both in making sure that they get the fullest out of him while also making sure that the platform that they're at, making sure that College Park is the front leading team in 13-6A, which is a very hard thing to do because this has been one of the more competitive districts in the area. When you talk about the Willis Wildcats have been running this district for a while now. New Caney burst on the scene in one district. Their first year as a 6A program. The Woodlands historically dominates this, but now Jordan White, Marco Beltran, and the rest of the Cavaliers are really starting to show that College Park might be the future of what 13-6A holds in terms of maintaining the year-to-year dominance. And, well, he's no small part in it, Jane. We're happy to have him as a part of our greater puzzle as a Protect You crew member.
Oh yeah, no. Jordan is the guy, and honored to be representing him. And talking to his dad, Norman, and getting him and I have had a social media friendship for years, and he's a big fan of what Jalen has done, and now I get to be a fan of his son Jordan, and that's kind of what it's all about, right? You compete, but then you still support each other, and being able to do that here, right, is such a great feeling. And now we're getting to help his son continue to live his dreams, right? And this young man, with or without Protection United, is going to be fine. But I love the fact that Norman recognizes what we do, how we do things, help with the recruiting, kind of take the business side of things now off of the plate, to where mom and dad can now just go to these colleges and they just look at what they need to look at. In essence, it is a great system for my son, right? Mom, of course, wants to know where her baby's going to be laying his head down at night. Does he have a washer and dryer right close by? What are they going to be feeding him? All the things that a good caring mom, is going to want. But this is what it's all about here at Protection United. And once again, we're honored to have Jordan White, come be a part of the crew, and just another great young man on and off the field that a lot of schools are going to recognize that he's a kid that won't get you fired. And if anything, probably be that kid to get you that extension coach that you're looking for.
No doubt on that. And we round out the Protect You crew editions with a guy who's been incredibly loyal, waiting for his time to finally get the announcement. And it is here, Jay. Rocco DeVita, kicker out of Tomball. We got a couple of kickers here are members of the Protect You crew, but special teams matter too. Special teams and kickers matter too. And Rocco is a rock solid one at that. He's been an excellent job and one of the, as you call them, the fighting zombies over there at Tom Paul. But I love this picture here too. I love it so much. But he's been a really rock solid presence there for the Cougars, going in and out during this last season. But they've been trusting him to handle a lot of these big crunch time type of plays for a Tom Ball team that I believe still to this point in the season only has one loss.
Yeah, no, it's true. And, Rocco has been known around the state of Texas since he was 19 years old, right?
Yeah.
He played for our organization, Texas Pines Elite as well, traveled all over, and was one of the best kickers in this area. And to see a 10-year-old hitting 30, 35-yard field goals, right, was something that was somewhat of an outlier, Jake, if you will, because you don't normally see kids that are doing that. And then he's just, perfected his craft, and he's gotten better and better, each and every year. And, he's in a perfect situation to where now it's just all about, once the dust settles, right? The special teams, a lot of those guys get those offers late because that's just kind of the last spot that they fill out, right? Consider it, Jake, how we are in fantasy football, right? We're always taking our kicker in those last rounds or two. Well, it's kind of the same in recruiting. A lot of these guys from the specials, they don't normally get their spots until after everything else solidified, and then now you want to get it. So Rocco is going to be fine. The one transfer portal I feel is going to really help him out because now there won't be any springs. And so after the rosters have been finalized, that portal opens and closes in January, I highly expect Rocco to have a multiple of offers, right, for himself in order to find his new home collegiately.
And we were deeply involved, too, in making things like his recruiting pitch deck is one of the things that we offer here at Protection United. And we made dang sure to get as many accolades in there as possible because it's hard for a kicker.
Right.
It's hard because you're not going out to those national camps. You're not getting the same star rating as most of those other guys. And so those accolades and those camps that you do go to really do matter. And so we made sure to emphasize as much of that with Rocco as possible. He's a guy that I feel like will be a solid kicker for any program that picks him up because you can't really go wrong with him, Jay. You can't really go wrong with a guy like Rocco DeVita. Rock solid. He's got a banging leg, but I think what is so underrated with it is he pairs it with accuracy.
Right.
A lot of kickers, you favor one or the other. You're good from inside of 40 because you got great accuracy, or you're great from outside of 40 because you got a banging leg, but you're sort of off on the accuracy part of it. So Rocco does a great job of combining both of those, a very unique skill set that we only a handful of players really have. I mean, Scott Starzik, obviously one that we know locally here that has that type of a talent, but I think Rocco has done a great job at making sure
I
that his
agree.
name is on that
I
same
agree.
level.
And I love his frame too. I mean, he's a kid that's 6'2",
Yeah.
right? You know, you and I saw a big kicker for
Say for
Magnolia.
Magnolia.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I think there's something to be said about having a long leg,
Yeah.
right? And you know, everybody's journey is different, and that's what I love about this game called football. Because you look at like a Jake Bates, right, the kicker for the Detroit Lions. He was literally working at a HEB here in Houston, right? He was a soccer player, took football a little bit seriously, and then now he's starting kicker for the Detroit Lions, and he's going to have a phenomenal NFL career, right? So everyone's journey is different. You know, somebody's going to come discover Rocco, obviously through the help of Protection United. We're going to ensure that his name is being constantly put out there on these colleges lists, and then we'll see where things go.
Absolutely, absolutely. But that rounds out our most recent additions to the Protect You crew, and we transition now to a road trip that Jay and I took over the weekend. We finished things up with Magnolia and Klein Collins, and then we decided that it'd be a great opportunity since we had things shifted the correct way and we got a couple of things lined up that you and I took a trip up to Fort Worth, up to
Yes, we
Funky
did.
Town,
We did go to Funky
to
Town,
go
Jake.
and visit the TCU Horned Frogs, where obviously two pillar members of the Protect You crew were there waiting for us with arms open, and we were excited to fulfill that journey because, Jay, it was a TCU takeover
It
between
was.
you and me.
I mean, look at that, man. We were everywhere. We're on the court. I mean, like we're going to show pictures a little bit later, but that's Sam Coleman, Samara's dad, right? I mean, of course, we had the snow room, right? When we got from volleyball to the football facilities, right? The Coleman twins are in there with me, freezing our butts off. There's Marco Beltran, popped in on him. He was up there with Julian Camardi. This is rolling fast, computer Jesus. We got AJ Ricker, the offensive line coach at TCU, great friend of mine. Of course, we had the family, right? There's a Kennys and there's the Colemans, right? I mean, just getting to show such a great family event. I mean, you talk about probably one of my most favorite, I would say favorite trips we've done thus far here at Protection United, Jake. Just getting the opportunity to like truly spend time. I mean, you and I went from volleyball, got to experience that for the first time, which I thought was amazing for me. I know you've been to other matches, but then to go eat dinner, right? You know, Coach Jason, right, head coach for the TCU volleyball squad, allowed us to come eat dinner with the team and the families for the recruits that were in homecoming week, and they served an amazing meal to us, man, and thought that was awesome on Friday night. And then we get up early Saturday morning to a phenomenal breakfast. I mean, bro.
French toast,
man,
croissant sandwiches,
bro,
bacon,
the potatoes. It was a coffee bar. You thought it was a different kind of bar.
It was a different kind of bar, but it was because I'd never seen that before. Who opens up a custom coffee bar to visitors?
TCU.
But that's TCU,
they
man.
Showed us first class treatment. I mean, and then Jake, we even got to hang out up in the presidential suite areas, right? And I mean, just an amazing experience, right, at the football field. And then, of course, we get to close it out by going out to eat dinner with the Kennys, right? Rod Kenny, one of our guys here. I feel like he's like an honorary Protect You crew member.
I think, yes.
Papa Rod.
Absolutely.
But I mean, getting to go eat with him and his lovely wife, Erica. Of course, you know, Davis was in the house, right? He wanted to come show some love to his brother. But it was just such a great weekend, Jake, and so fun. And, you know, I can't wait to do it again. You know, every time we go to TCU, they do nothing but show us love. And I think, once again, right, they set the bar even higher of what we expect when we come to these college campuses, right, to go through everything.
No, I thoroughly enjoy every time we get an opportunity to go out and travel like that, to get to experience that full encompassing of what TCU had to offer, right? We were able to go and watch volleyball. We had great seats for that one too. And we got a couple of great videos for them as we get showing them here. There was a lot of just a great atmosphere, I feel like. And TCU volleyball has obviously done an excellent job in terms of building up what the program has become, back inside of the top 10, back at number 9 now inside of the rankings. And so it was great to witness that firsthand. Great to talk with Coach Williams firsthand about what the program has been like. What has it been like to lead this team? The trials and the tribulations, and now they get to see the successful parts of it. Got to connect with a couple of other family members out there as well. Chit-chatted with them some. That was fun. And I think the biggest part of what this trip really embodied, Jay, was it was that opportunity to rekindle those connections.
Yeah.
Rebuild on and reestablish, what it is that made us so special to not just the Kinney family and the Coleman family, but to all the families here at Protection United, where now we get to see the full encompassing of the taking it from the high school ranks, like with Samara, for example, all the way up to the collegiate level, where now we're seeing her play for the purple and white on the biggest stage.
Exactly. No, exactly. And then, just going from that to then transition into, get to watch Dylan, play, on the gridiron, right? Dylan came into our lives, via Derek Lagway and Rod playing college football together at Baylor, which, by the way,
speaking of
Baylor, right? So that was kind of cool. Oh, there's our guy that was entertaining us a lot. But yeah, I mean, look at the big raindrops, man. That was probably one of the craziest games we've ever been at, Jake. I mean, they have 4 lightning delays.
Yes.
6 hours.
About 3 hours worth of lightning
There
delays.
we are, baby. Hey, Jake, with the camera. You're money with that camera, bro. Turning on us while, watching the touchdown. And, of course, getting this video of us being inside of the snow room.
Yeah.
Right? The recovery snow room. But, I mean, it was just such a fun, trip. And like I said, I can't, put the words truly in motion in regards to how much love the coaches showed us, right? Coach Jason, knowing, us bringing Samara to him and what that meant to his program. They've never been ranked in the top 25 before.
Yeah.
Right? They've never had a first-team high school All-American ever in the history of his program. Before Coach Jason even thought about coaching at TCU, Coach Jason might have still been in high school, right, when that program started, or maybe not having been born. I don't know how long the program has been in existence, but they've never had a high school All-American, right? So, him coming up and showing love to us, talking to us multiple times, and you can tell when a coach is wanting to walk out of a conversation as soon as it starts versus a guy that is welcoming and wanting to talk to us. I mean, and for him to even allow us to be a part of the special surprise announcement that he told the young ladies about some upcoming trips that'll be coming, next season. And guys, let's just say that these aren't regular trips, right? Like, I don't want to ruin it. I want to give TCU the opportunity to put that out there first, since we were at that private dinner event. But let's just say that when Jake and I heard it, we were like, damn, can we go? Do you need us?
Do you need chaperones?
Right. Or do you need, some coverage or interviews, or do we need to renegotiate your contract, Coach Jason, and we can talk about it on those trips? And how about it being the same trip, Jake? It's just 2 stops.
Yeah.
Man. Anyway, but I mean, and then of course AJ Ricker, right? He instantly sees me on the sideline, comes up, daps me up, hugs me, right? And then lets me come on the field, right? Everybody's got to stay behind the line. I'm like the only person that's not on the TU coaching staff or players, and just kind of getting to, hang out and talk to him for about 10 minutes during pregame. That's just the kind of relationships that we built here at Protection United, and just such a blessing that they all allow us, that extra access, right, that most people dream about getting. We're just welcome with open arms, right? And even with your connections, Jake, I mean, You got guys there that got us up to the presidential suite, man. We had cushions on our butts, on our backs.
Yes.
Me and you down there could have took a nap.
Yeah.
Up there.
And with all those rain delays, we probably could have snuck in and missed absolutely nothing during that one. But no, shout outs to my buddy Sean, great friend. Al, obviously great friend as well. The Turner family, y'all are fantastic, and I appreciate everything that y'all did for us during that game as well. So it really does mean a lot to be able to go out there and experience everything that there was in terms of being able to just sit and watch a game normally like we did at the start of TCU volleyball, but then to get to where the families go and to get to have the private dinners, also to go on and do official visits, because it was technically also Tavis and Bryce's official visit to TCU. Got to drop in, see Marco Beltran as well, but to tour the facilities, get to see all the state-of-the-art stuff
Yeah.
that TCU Athletics gives their athletes was really cool to see.
I agree. And then let me jump in real quick because you mentioned something about Marco. It just shows once again, right? Marco is at TCU, right? We get a picture, we post, and then our buddy reaches out to me at New Mexico to tell me that they're offering Marco a scholarship.
There you go.
Right. And so now Marco has his 10th D1 offer, University of Mexico, right? Bo Davison, big shout out to my guy, the general manager there, right? That we helped get Chris Gant there, right, from the transfer portal. Once again, relationships, building real relationships. We've been pushing Marco. They got probably, he's at TCU. Let's get our guy. And so in turn, now we're looking at a Marco Beltran that is now, going to be up at New Mexico this weekend for his OV. So just happy for our crew. I just wanted to throw that in because you reminded me about that as well.
Absolutely. Because that was just such a cool natural thing of like, oh shoot, there's Marco. So it was cool. It was cool to see him. It was cool to see everybody. Obviously, great to see friends. Great to see family members out there that were waiting for us to show a little bit more support because we were able to get up close and personal with a couple of these pillar members of the Protect You crew as we move now into the ball and get the call segment. We start with Samara Coleman, where
got to start there.
We had to start with the first lady, had to show her some love, and it was a lot to look at because they played an electrifying match against K-State.
Right after the game, got the pick.
Yeah, it was just such a great match. And then this was the coolest part to me, too. To be able to see them call out the starting lineups and say, from Spring, Texas, Samara Coleman. That was so cool.
And starting as a true freshman.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, I love that. And, I mean, just getting to watch, what she does on the court. Like I said earlier, right? My first event, right, was number 11. I think Becca will be representing her real soon. Parents reached out and, she's looking for representation. Her older sister, by the way, plays for Pitt, and she's getting ready to go overseas to play professionally.
Yep.
Once again, Jake, just a great opportunity, though, to see Samara. Love the fact of getting to see my first volleyball game. I appreciate you, Jake, educating me on how the game is played and what the different calls and the rules and the naming of all. I didn't know any of that. All I know is we support Samara Coleman, the first lady. She was in the building, and she helped her team get another big win to keep this thing rolling for the TCU Horned Frogs.
Yes, they've been on a historic run for the program. They are back inside of the top 10, as previously mentioned, back at the number 9 spot. Sets them up really well for their upcoming matches. The main one that they got to look out for is Arizona State. If they can knock off the Sun Devils, that puts TCU right there in the top spot for winning the regular season title for the Big 12. Might be the first time that they've ever done that. I'm not entirely sure on that one myself, but
let's just go with that.
Absolutely. I mean, it makes sense, right? Because this is the highest that TCU has ever gotten before.
Right.
They've never had this level of success. It sets them up really nicely for the Big 12 tournament and then ultimately that NCAA tournament. There's a lot of tough competition, but they've been road tested, playing teams like Penn State, Pitt, Texas, Baylor, some of the top squads in the nation, and Samara Coleman has been one of the cornerstones of their success throughout this season. And then we mentioned, too, that was Friday night. We move into Saturday morning, and we get to see Dylan Kinney get some action.
Yeah, buddy. No, our guy, DK in the building, man. The great young man. Just love watching him do his thing. I mean, look at that shot. And I got that picture, Jay.
Yeah,
I finally got a good shot. This was you here, though, man. Got to be on the field once again. Coach Ricker, big shout out, letting us to have all this access. He lets you get up close to get film of warm-ups. I mean, great man. I mean, I don't know how many people get this access that's not a part of the TCU media, right? But, I mean, just getting to see, Dylan out there competing against his dad's old school, right? Dylan has another year left at TCU. Still recovering from, that injury. And, he is showing that he's playing through a lot of pain, but just a great young man. He said, Coach, I don't need anything right now. I'm good. Let me finish strong. Want to finish this essentially junior season, right? If you will, because he's got a whole nother year. And rumor has it, he's going to either be starting center next year or starting guard. He could be the backup at other spots. I mean, he's such a dual threat athlete because being able to play both guard positions and center makes him so valuable to this squad at TCU. And we know that they're senior heavy on the interior, and those young men will be playing on Sundays. And then now you're looking at a Dylan Kennedy that's going to get his shot next year to be a full-time starter. And we all know the skies are going to be the limit for him. So excited for Dylan. Great to get to see our guy up close in person. And once again, allowing the crew to show that everything here is not transactional. Right? We're a true family here. We're going to come show you love. Right? We're going to come hang out with you and the family and let you know that we're in the building. And between my connections or your connections, Jake, we're
going to find a way to make it work.
We seem to be able to get closer than the majority of other people can get. Right? No. We're not a in the stands kind of guys.
We're saying we're not even in a parking lot. We are on the field. We are in the suites. We are in the stands with the family members.
Yeah,
we were everywhere in that one.
I mean, dude, we sat with the recruits. We sat in the parent section. We went up to the suites. We were on the field.
We were standing. We were getting rained on. Dude, we were everywhere at Amon G. Carter.
Yeah,
and there was no bad sight lines in that game either. Even though we had multiple weather delays during that one.
That was wild.
Which were brutal. Brutal weather delay.
If it weren't for the presidential suites, I don't know if we could have made it through, Jake.
I don't know.
No, we would have stuck around.
But I don't
know if we would have made it through.
It would have been a battle.
That would have been tough.
Yes.
But having the cush seats and the air conditioning and the bathrooms that were clean like Buc-ee's, I mean, it helped those extra 5 hours.
No doubt on that. And it helped too that TCU ended up getting the win in this one as well. Oh. In spite of the lengthy delays in that one, TCU stayed locked in.
They did. You know what? Speaking of that, we go back to the Magnolia game, which was a freaking instant classic.
Mm-hmm.
Then the volleyball game, which, I mean, the TCU wins in 4 sets, but dude, every one of them went close. Everyone went to extras, right?
One of them
went by 2.
One of them too that went to 30s as well.
Right, but every one of them they had to win by 2. It wasn't a 25 to something, right? Every one of them went I'm just gonna call them extras because I don't know what the word is. But then the football game, right? I mean, Baylor made a comeback and had the ball with a chance to win on the last drive because they scored, got the onside kick, and then TCU gets another pick. But just amazing amount of action, Jake, that we personally got to experience. I mean, I don't know. Do we want to credit me setting our schedule for that weekend? I mean, what's the odds of that weekend of a Thursday night Cash Farrell, Friday night Samara Coleman, and then a Saturday Dylan Kenny? And I don't think we'll see better games.
It was perfectly timed. I think it was a matter of your scheduling set us up perfectly on top of all of the other factors. I think it may have just been a good bit of luck. Good sprinkling of luck in there too, with all the schedule makers played some favors that ended up going into our hand.
It did, Joe.
We got dealt a pretty good hand.
No, we got dealt a great hand, and it's funny because a lot of times you can get excited for a trip and then you get let down because it doesn't live up to the expectations. We were pumped going into the Magnolia Klein Collins game.
Yeah,
and then we were pumped about getting on the road Friday, dude. I mean, I want to say expectations were higher, or the results rather were higher than what we even expected.
No, I could agree with that. There was a lot of excitement around not just those games, but also, again, being able to see people as opposed to having to watch through a television screen. I think definitely elevated the experience, and we were able to heighten it in ways that we didn't even think of.
I agree. And talk about exceeding expectations. This next guy, let's bring up our man, Tylen George. I mean,
say another great ball and get the call moment here where they were texting you as we were watching that TCU game saying, hey, you better talk about Tylen, and boy, will we.
Freeze the computer just for 1 second, brother. Man, I just want to talk about the fact that this young man is literally going against, and I know we'll show these clips, but Dylan Berryman, the Texas commit, this kid has been literally unblockable his whole high school career. That's why Texas wants him, Jake. That's why you're a Longhorn, because your Longhorns go after only 4 and 5 stars. Am I correct on that, sir?
You are not incorrect.
Okay. And we have Tylen George, and what he did against that young man was something that we've never seen before. So with that being said, now, Computer Jesus, you can roll the tape. I'm ready to show off what this guy did Friday night They beat Ouachita Parish 39-25. But I mean, and you just see him just constantly doing what he does. I mean, look at him pulling.
Yes, I think that's one of the most underrated parts of his game is he's got some tremendous speed here, and we got a couple of mixed games highlights in here as well. But
Yeah.
it was just
Ooh.
following through, finishing the block,
you know
doubling
what?
down on it.
I agree. And I know we're live, and guys, this is a different day, and it's okay. We're going to extend grace here. But Computer Jesus, when you get a chance, if you can just skip over this, because we watched these clips when we announced them. I want to see the clips if we have the other ones from the actual game Friday night. Whenever you get a chance to get that going for us.
Well, these are a couple of them mixed in here because this is the overall highlights. I mean, man, staying on top of them too. I love that a lot of the guys that we have just got some dog and some anger to them too, some swagger, like you put it too.
Exactly. No. Yeah, and then like just whenever you get to it, Justin, you just let us know. You can get on the mic and talk to us and tell us that you're about to cut to it because I think those highlights alone should garner multiple P4 offers because if you can do that against a Texas commit, that means that you can do that against anybody else in the nation. So it is something that is just been a force to be seen.
No, and I think that Tylen was an incredibly underrated player in terms of what he was looking at while he was getting recruited. He is definitely going to be valued where he's headed at the Division I levels, but now we see just a little bit more of why it's important, right? To get these types of film. Dang, and this is the one here. This is the one. Stay on top of him and bark down at him too while you're on him. That's the type of stuff that I love. But I think this further emphasizes too the importance of getting the right recruiting, getting the right videos, and the right stuff out there at the right time because that's ultimately what matters, and that's what's going to get you recruited.
Right? No, exactly. And I mean, I know that, and I'm just going to read this while these videos are playing, because this stat line is something that I feel needs to be said. Against the 4-star Dylan Berryman, 0 sacks given up, 0 pressures, and are you ready for this, Jake?
Go for it.
6 pancakes, baby.
Dang, man.
6 freaking pancakes. I mean, this young man
is a force of nature.
Yes. And it is that one.
Yes.
Computer Jesus, you were showing it. Then that's great. Thank you so much for that. 48 was Dylan. And let's just say Tylen was doing his thing against one of the top, not only in the state of Louisiana, but in the freaking nation.
Yes.
And he held it down, Jake. It's just, it's one thing, right, to be, undervalued. And sure, could have been, he committed to Tulane early. And because he committed to Tulane so early, a lot of schools backed off. I know the schools that I personally reached out to, that was the first thing they asked was, wait, what happened with Tulane? I thought, we got him off our board because we thought that's where he was going. And once again, right, when you're doing things on your own, and I know Fred, Fred George, Tylen's father, been doing a phenomenal job, right? With his son and helping them recruiting as well as developing him into the fine young man that he is on and off the field. But sometimes you don't know what you don't know. And a lot of times you feel like, man, I got to commit. I got to do this now. Right? Go back to the Scottie Pippen, contract that he did. I know I'm changing sports and leagues here, but Scottie had a 10-year, $10 million contract in his face. Scottie didn't know any better, right? But then he realized, oh crap, I undervalued myself, right? Well, the difference is between Scottie Pippen and Tylen George situation is that Tylen has Protection United, and we're going to be here to help make every school understand, right? Yes, he's still committed to to Tulane. However, right? We're going to still take phone calls. We're still taking offers because at the end of the day, it's going to always be what's best for Tylen, not what's best for a school, right? So if Tulane wants to continue to recruit, obviously, and continue to build a relationship, keep doing that. But we would be doing an injustice for this young man because we all know that he has P4 talent, and that P4 talent needs to be put out into the world. So, Tylen, we're here for you, brother. You balled. You definitely got the call. And to do what he did is just something that I can't wait to send that to Coach Ricker at TCU. I can't wait to send this to Texas Tech.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Hey, we saw Texas Tech. We're gonna get to see the coach here in a little bit.
Yeah,
I
we
think
are.
he has a message for Tylen George as well as all the offensive linemen that we represent here at Protection United. But I mean, I just can't wait to continue to show all these offensive line coaches that we know around the nation and introduce them to Tylen George.
And we got a lot more too coming at him because another offensive lineman and another stalwart member here of the Protect You crew was Jay Storm Knight, who you brought my attention to it, Jay, as you always do, finger on the pulse. A Max Preps article and an athlete profile recently came out with the big man out of Judson High School in San Antonio about this 6'8", 340-pound lineman that looks like he's going to be a dominating force when he hits the Division I ranks. There wasn't much else to the article, just a great athlete profile, sort of a get to know Jay Storm if somehow you haven't already heard about this dominant mountain of an offensive lineman.
Yeah, I mean, like Jay Storm is, I mean, let's just call it what it is. I mean, he's bigger than most NFL linemen, right? Young man's just 15 years old. I think he just turned 16, I believe. But every college coach that I've talked to, they have literally asked the question, have you shook this young man's hand? Have you seen him? That is a mountain of a man, right? And he only has a driver's permit.
Yes,
because he's still a child.
God help his family for trying to get him into a car.
Exactly, but or seeing that grocery bill. But but Max Preps, right? Recognizing, and I love the profile that they did on him. Right?
Yes.
They posted all of his offers. He's got 20+ offers. But then Jay Storm is also the young man that they know is going to be the next big thing, literally and figuratively, right? And Jay Storm has been a part of the crew for 6 months now, I believe. Big shout out to Mr. Jackson, right? Proud grandfather as well, right? Great support there, right? His mom as well. I mean, just has a lot of support around him, and we're just honored that we get to be an extension of his family. We're having to fight off all the other I would say agencies or people that are trying to connect with them. I love the fact that they instantly send that to us so that we can kind of go kill that noise. Jay Storm's off the market though, right? So all the ones that are watching, competitors, whatnot, he's ours. So y'all feel free to keep reaching out, but just don't keep coming to us. So if you want to talk to me or Jake, then feel free just to come directly to us. But no, seriously, I mean, Jay Storm is going to be a household name. I told that young man when we first went out there, Derek Lagway and I, because for a big man like that, we have to bring our heavy hitter, right, and Derek Lagway with me. And when we went to San Antonio to meet with him and the family, I looked at him in his eyes and told him that, hey, you'll be not only a future pro, but you will be a future Hall of Famer when it's all said and done. And I can stand on that, Jake, because I know not only how much of a dominant force he is on the field, but he is probably more of a better young man off of the field, right? The values that Nicole, his mom, and Mr. Jackson, the grandfather, have instilled in Jay Storm. I mean, like, he doesn't even recognize what he is, right? And he does not have that arrogance that a lot of times come with an athlete on that level, right? He's just another guy, just like a DJ Lagway or a Justin Williams, right? And that's what we love here about Protection United, is because even our 4 or 5-star guys are just normal guys, and they don't act like they're bigger and better than anyone, right? And Jay Storm is going to be that next up and coming one. And to end this segment here, I mean, let's just talk for a second. You go back in time and look at why Billy Mitchell dominated. Once again, we've talked about this in the past, but on this squad, you had Jay Storm Knight. Of course, you had Superman, right? Dylan Mitchell himself. But you also had Brandon Hebert, right? The other offensive lineman, right, that we also represent out of North Shore. I mean, Jake, you talk about domination between those 3 athletes, brother. I mean, that just shows. And then they all came up together. They all came up playing football together, but then they also have real friendships. And most importantly, they all are great young men. And that's what this is all about.
Yes, cannot agree with you more about what was just said there. The interconnected nature of a lot of the Protect You crew members, where Jay, you've talked a lot about, you've been watching some of them since they were youngins coming up and getting their first snaps here playing football. But I think that's really cool too, to see that all of these guys, despite being so separated by regionality, where one of them's in San Antonio, and even though Houston may seem like it's its own area, let's be real, there are about 8 to 10 different areas when you say Houston that you're talking about here. So to see C.E. King, Atascocita, North Shore, and now we're starting to see Judson thrown into that same tight-knit community as well is really cool to be a part of, Jay. Something that I love just seeing. I love seeing that these guys, they all know each other. It's that family connection. I feel like that's been a major point of emphasis, not just throughout this whole episode, but throughout a lot of the mission statements here at Protection United about family is family. We're going to make sure that everybody is eaten the same way as everybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
And we move now into our final segment here, where a lot of people might look at October and say that we are in the heart of football season. Professional football is getting to roll around. College football is getting into the depths of it. High school is gearing up for the playoffs coming around soon. But there's also a lot of other things going on. NHL is starting to open up their season, but it's the postseason for baseball as well. We're gearing up for the World Series here. We're in the ALCS, NLCS already wrapped up pretty handily. The Dodgers took care of business in that one, but
as expected.
We bring up baseball here because there are a lot of ways that you could phrase something as being weird, something as being sort of off. And the way that we phrase it in this one is it's a bit of a curveball to hear some things that come out of the mouths of certain coaches. We've already talked a little bit about some of the best meltdowns, some of the best press conference quotes of angry coaches coming at some of the members of the press or even their own players. But in this instance, Jay, you and I have gathered a couple of clips. You took a lot of the reins on this one, especially of trying to find some of the biggest curveballs and weird moments during press conferences and speeches that coaches from the college football ranks have given us in recent memory.
I agree, Jake. And it's like we don't know what to expect, right? I mean, you have coaches that are going to be having their press conferences or they're meeting with their teams, and you're expecting one thing, sitting on a fastball, but then here comes a curveball. And now you don't know how did we get here? What led to this? But we are here for it. That being said, Computer Jesus, please roll the first tape.
Okay, before I do that, I just want to shout out to Sam Coleman and Liz and Slade Weeks who are watching online on Facebook.
Excellent. Fantastic stuff. Awesome. Shout outs to y'all. We appreciate y'all for the support that y'all have been pouring in throughout this.
Parents, right? Yep, Liz and Slade, and of course Sam.
Of course, Sam. You knew he was going to be here. You knew Sam was going to be here.
Sam's our guy. He's going to watch Rod and Sam. I'm glad that we introduced them to you, by the way.
Yes.
That was the first time they've met.
That's incredible.
Both of their kids are at TCU. I was so happy to link up two of our most favorite dads. Used to be Bill Cosby on the Cosby Show. Now it's Sam Coleman and Rod Kenny.
Absolutely. Love to see that come together. But we move now into our curveballs, Jay. After that obvious great shout out, if y'all have something to comment or something that y'all would like to say, be sure to mention us. Be sure to shoot it our direction, as maybe you have a suggestion for what you think your favorite curveball moment might be. But here are our four, starting out with clip number 1.
One more thing, just in case you're wondering, if you're a big guy that wants to sit in first class and you play offense and defensive line, you should come to Texas Tech. Thank y'all.
Hey, what a great
short, simple, but also I feel like an effective pitch.
Hey, a recruiting curveball, Jake. A recruiting curveball. I love the fact that Texas Tech is not only putting their money where their mouths are, Jake, but they also are saying, hey, big fella, I know these other schools, you might be sitting in coach and you might having your knees up to your neck. You come fly with us and you roll with Texas Tech, baby, and you will have your legs plenty of leg room
first class.
First class for the bigs.
Yes.
The only thing I'm worried about is, will the nose of the plane tip down? I mean, if the bigs are all up front and the skills are in the back, how do you keep the nose of the plane?
That's going to be an interesting takeoff.
You got to be like Fred Flintstone.
really pulling back on the stick.
You might have to like put like 2 runways together and then take off back further to really get all that.
You take off
weight up.
backwards. You take off backward in reverse.
Yeah, maybe that's what you got to do. Either way,
they got to work that out logistically at Texas Tech.
Either
it seems
way,
like they keep bringing them in.
I agree,
they keep bringing them
but
in.
either way, no way someone asked a question about that. That was
that had to have
completely
been
off script.
Coach, what do you have to say to the future recruits at Texas Tech? And he hit you with the curveball of,
bam.
You want to come sit in first class, big boys?
I don't even think they asked that.
Tech.
I think they asked him, "What you think about the game?" And he just said, "Like, hey, I'm just gonna throw this out here." Then they got nothing to do with what you asked me, but I'm just gonna tell it because I'm here to recruit. Nice curveball there, Coach McGuire.
Yes, Joey McGuire out there for Texas Tech. And we move now to clip number 2 of the coaching curveball seconds. A little bit of a personal curveball in this one, Jay.
Yeah.
Relieving, you said? I'm never relieved I'm going to be relieved when I go up my office and crack a beer.
Okay.
So another short and sweet, but Coach isn't relaxed until he's in his office and he gets to crack open a cold one.
A cold beer. I mean, man. Coming off of a big win, Indiana is being dominant. You know, last year they took a lot of slack for making the playoffs. People felt they shouldn't have been there, right? Because they thought, oh, he played in the Big Ten. He had an easy route. Didn't have to go against Ohio State and Michigan, all the things that people said in the regular season. And then I do believe that they got put out their first game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, they did.
But to go up and win a huge game a couple of weeks ago up at Oregon, and then to turn around and keep this thing going to where now they're a top 5 program, right? In some rankings, right, top 3. You would think he could be a little relaxed because of the fact that they're playing so well. No, I can't be relaxed until I go crack me open a cold one. I'm not going to be relaxed until that happens.
But that's Curt Cignetti, and he has got a lot to relax and think about now with that new contract extension that Indiana gave him. It seems like very well deserved, especially with Indiana has really solid chances. They're one of the favorites now to win the national championship. Wow. One of just 6 remaining undefeated teams in all of FBS football are the Hoosiers.
They look good.
They do.
They got their own version of Jeremiah Smith. Defensively is where they have shown a lot of improvement and success. I mean,
think of that game against Oregon.
Yeah, to hold Oregon at home to under 30 points. And that's unheard of.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they're doing big things at Indiana. Indiana's no longer just a basketball school, I should say. So they also play football. I will say, quick shout out to the decision makers for NIL, because allowing NIL has now created more parity, right, in college football. And that's what ultimately I was hoping for in the midst of paying these players, because now it's like, why would I go sit the bench for Alabama and be a part of their 105 when I can now go play at Indiana, get film, be on national TV, still play high-level football? Big Ten, right, is now almost equal to the SEC. And then we're going to win.
Yeah.
Now these coaches have a real shot at winning. And it's not just the same handful of schools year in and year out. So,
and one team that definitely jumped onto that same tier of who are these guys? Well, how is this team doing really well? Was obviously Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes when they got that big transfer class coming in from Jacksonville State, and they moved everything over. He brought over a new culture, and part of that culture was, if you don't want to be a part of my program, you won't have to be. But now he's starting to show a little bit of all right, fine. If you want to be a part of the program, I'm still going to help you out some.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this before.
This is something that is completely different. It's one thing for a coach to encourage and say, hey, I'll sign off. I'll get a coach to look at you. I got another coaching buddy that actually needs, depth at the position that you play. And so I'm going to help you out. But for what we're about to show you is something that we've never, ever seen before. And I don't know if we'll ever see it again. Peter Jesus, roll the clip.
Like that. A lot of you guys that don't get to play, you don't get your chance today. All right, this is your chance, because I'm not crazy enough to think that all of you going to be in this room next year. Some of you going to jump in the portal. This is an opportunity for you to get some portal film. okay? So I'm the kind of coach that's gonna make sure we cut it, hype it up, give it to you however you want it, and make sure you're looking good in your portal tape. So this is, some of you guys don't get to play, they're planning on jumping. You already made up in your mind you're jumping, so I'm just trying to help you jump, okay? The rest of you guys are planning on just staying here, rubbing it out, doing your doggone thing. I want you to get you some good tape, get you some good film so you can assess yourself, and you all should be watching yourself practice. You all should be watching yourself to see how you go about it, to see what improvement you need, what you gotta work on. But this is your day. I think we got cheerleaders for you today. I don't know if we got band members. I know they're trying, but I'm trying to get the whole shebang to make you have the feeling that it's game day for you. So when you come out there, it's game day. You're gonna have your own stretch, right? They stretching. You gotta stretching them separately. The rest of you guys is playing, practicing. We gotta have a good practice today to end this thing. But you're gonna stay your butt here, don't leave, and support your teammates. Coaches, main staff, we going up top to watch them. Don't be around them, let the rest of the coaches, support staff. You guys got this today. Everybody got this. Make sure they running on and off the field as we do in the game. We're gonna have everybody on the one side of the field, far side, Chili's gonna be on the near side. So you're gonna have, do your thing. Have a great day today. You guys that's playing in the game, get your minds right.
Very interesting. I've never heard of that before, of a transfer portal game of you're looking to leave my program, but you know what? We'll get the cheerleaders out here. I think we got members of the band out here. We're gonna treat this like it's a game so you can get some good film.
He's gonna let them run out the tunnel with the smoke. Like they're running on and off the field. I mean, I think he's even trying to set up like make-believe TV timeouts to give them a full plan of attack. And shout out to Coach Prime, right? Because, you know, he hears the noise. He understands that everybody's not going to be happy, and he gets it. Being a former player at the level that he played the game and then now being on the coaching side, he's got the experience both angles, and I would say rather all angles when it comes to this. And, I mean, you're looking at a situation where he was like, hey, you know what? Not only am I going to let you leave without trying to fight, but I'm going to set it up to where people can actually watch you compete, and then we'll go from there, right? So, I mean, I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought I would witness something like this, but I mean, I'm not against it.
No.
And there's nothing wrong with it. And I mean, what better way to truly show love to your guys, even the ones that want to leave you, to give them one more opportunity to essentially showcase their talents instead of just having to provide practice film with the hope that a school will bite on that. I mean, you know, having a real game situation, I mean, that's what it's about.
Yes.
You know, so
a definite curveball when it comes to addressing your guys and addressing the transfer portal with a program of guys who I know you already got your minds made up, but we're still going to make sure that we treat you right on the way out. Definitely something that caught me off guard, but
yeah,
always got to have respect for Coach Prime.
Exactly.
Always got to have respect for Coach Prime. And our last one here, I think might be the curviest curveball of them all. And who better than, of course, the late great Mike Leach, may he rest in peace, giving us a curveball in a press conference where I don't even know how he lands on this discussion and this monologue that he goes on of talking about in the golden age of the Pac-12, what mascots he thinks would be the best in a fight. Computer Jesus, you are good to take it away.
Well, first of all, what kind of mythical powers does a Sun Devil have? We got to consider that. I'm going to say the Wildcat's out. The Trojan, does he have a horse or is he on foot? Does he have a bow and arrow or just his sword? The Bruin, definitely formidable. Another bear up there at Cal. The tree, I imagine that tree's going to get chopped down. Unless we're going to go with a bird and somebody might get pecked or something. I don't know. And then the duck might lose interest and just fly away and get out of there, which may be good advice under the circumstances. The husky, no chance. The beaver, well, we'll see how long that beaver can hold his breath. The ute, again, we're back to, is he on horseback? Does he have a bow and arrow? Did he trade for a rifle? I mean, you know, because if that Ute's got a rifle, there's some definite problems. And then, and you know, you'd have to get one of those Harry Potter activists to read up on how you kill a sun devil, because there's a lot of outside stuff there. Just as far as a beast alone, a buffalo's going to be pretty hard to tangle with. I mean, a buffalo's utterly outstanding. Well, but Butch is going to have to be clear-minded and crafty. I mean, Butch will find a way. There's no question. The Coug will find a way. Clear-minded and crafty, a combination of stay out of harm's way and attack when you get your chances or your openings.
This weird.
Quite the interesting tirade that he launches into there. And I love too how seriously he took all of it. I love how you could tell that he was thinking of like let's think about this. I mean, did the Ute, is he on horseback? Does he have a bow and arrow? Did he trade it for a rifle? I mean, because that could definitely change things up. You're gonna have to consult somebody else on, I don't know what powers a Sun Devil has, but somebody's gonna have to explain that one to me. So much about that was off. So much about that was, Coach, what on earth are we talking about?
That's vintage Mike Leach.
Yes.
And the whole video was kind of thrown off. I mean, even like the video that was going to the end. I mean, what was that? Like somebody getting like a massage or something at the end of that? Like, we got Mike Leach involved. You see a lot of different things, right? So I guess he brings a lot of different advertisements or advertisers his way. But Mike Leach is hilarious. The way that he breaks down the game of football on and off the field has always been something that I've always been a big fan of. And yeah, talking about mascots, duking it out, Jay, getting in the octagon.
Yes, of talking about Stanford. Are we talking about the Cardinal? Are we talking about the bird? Because if that's the case, then somebody's going to get pecked. Somebody will probably get pecked. But if it's a tree, I mean, the tree will get cut down. That's vintage Mike Leach, man. I miss him. I've loved those coaching moments that he had. But with that conclusion in the last curveball, strike 3, we are out of here, Jay. And it was another great episode here at the Protect You podcast. As always, fantastic thanks goes out to the many people watching that make sure that this goes smoothly and making sure that there's a full community feel to every episode that goes live. It truly does mean the absolute most.
Yeah, and I appreciate you guys jumping in on a special day. Also, too, y'all see I got the new Protection United apparel on. Go to our online shop. You can see that on our profile on our Instagram page, as well as I think it's on our website.
Yep.
But y'all just reach out. Y'all want to get, we got hats, obviously the pullovers, the shirts. Jake, you love the material.
Yes.
You won't shut up talking about the material.
Those pullovers were nice. Those pullovers were nice. I can't wait for things to finally cool down around here so I can actually start showing it off for once.
I think he's on his way. But anyway, definitely appreciate you guys letting us do a special edition of the Protect You podcast on a Monday.
Absolutely. It truly does mean the most. Be sure to check us out on all of our social media platforms. Be sure to click subscribe and like on the YouTube channel. We're steadily growing, well over 100 subscribers. As always, Jake Wilson alongside Jay Mickens. Justin Woods was our producer. We appreciate you all, and we'll catch you on the next one. See you around.